Hello, welcome to our session today, EFT for abundance. So, I'll tell you a bit about myself before I go into the session and more details around what does it mean? What is the EFT tapping for abundance going to be about today? My name is Stella, and you may have joined my sessions before on the virtual village hall, or perhaps you stumbled across it today for the first time. Either way, welcome. It's really a pleasure to share the session with you. And if you're watching this back in your own time, then know that you can get just as much benefit. So, welcome as well. I shared Qigong, Tai Chi for health, and EFT, and a few other things around mindfulness, creativity sometimes on the virtual village hall. And today, EFT is all about emotional freedom technique, which is about moving chi energy. It's about moving our energy around our system, moving those emotions that might get blocked so we can be as healthy and balanced as possible, basically. And I love EFT. I love it because it's made such a difference to me. And I shared it a little bit early on in my therapist career. And I began to see that it was having a real significant impact for people. And I thought, I need to know more about this. So I trained further. I went on to do my further levels. So I'm trained up to master trainer level. So I train other people in EFT, which means I've done, lots of different courses, and I'm also a supervisor in EFT. So, you're in good hands today, and I'm really excited to introduce you to EFT. And if you've done it before, then take you a bit deeper. It's really about personalizing it for you. So I'll give you the opportunity to do that. But if you keep in mind that it is about energy flow, and if we imagine the system is these meridians like rivers that are meant to be flowing nice and smoothly around our system. Now, this philosophy is very sort of based on traditional Chinese medicine and some other philosophies and approaches around the world, but it's easy to use the example of acupuncture and the meridians. When we engage different acupressure points around the body, for example, if somebody has acupuncture, they have a needle put in to help that chi flow, and that's about interrupting the block to get things flowing. So we want things to flow nice and clearly around your system. And if you're noticing you've got symptoms in your body or perhaps thought patterns that are not very helpful, just feeling a bit off, tired, or more significant things around, it might be around mental health or pain conditions, long-term conditions, the philosophy of EFT would connect that, and traditional Chinese medicine would connect all of those issues to a blockage, a stagnation in our system. This can be quite different to those of us that have been brought up with the Western medical model. And it's not about one or the other, it's about bringing them together. That's my belief and my approach. So with this process, we're going to help you clear those meridians around your system so they flow nice and clear. And we're going to do that in a really grounded way. It's really important to make sure that we are grounded, comfortable, safe, because once we've got the grounded roots, like we feel more in our body and present, then we are able to access more healing, move more energy, and the energy we do move is going to be more sustainable change. We want to talk about abundance today, and that's quite high vibrational energy. So we want to make sure we establish our roots of it first. So with that in mind, I want you to make sure that you are resourced for our session today. If you feel you're not quite in the right place, then it's fine to come back to watch the session. But if you feel that you are in a good place, that you feel you want to explore some abundance together, then wonderful. Please make sure that you've got some water, some kind of drink nearby. As we move this energy, you're going to be talking as well, out loud ideally. It can be quite thirsty work, and also it's a lot of healing going on. So we want to make sure that we're helping that move and clear through the system. So keeping refreshed for the rest of today. Keeping hydrated is great anyway, it's really important, but particularly today, whilst we're moving this energy. Okay. Right, so as I mentioned, I love EFT. I use it in my daily practice regularly on myself for my own healing journey. So part of my journey has been having symptoms around chronic fatigue. And over the 6 years since I discovered these amazing tools like Qigong, EFT, hypnotherapy, mindfulness, I have been able to really improve my health. to invite more vitality, more freedom, and more abundance into my life. And it's a journey. And this session is about meeting you where you are on your journey. So I invite you to be a bit kinder to yourself today with whatever comes up. If you have resistance around anything, that's okay. If you don't feel particularly abundant, that's okay too. You can plant seeds for later and just see if you can sit with what comes up for you with a bit of compassion and kindness. Okay. So make sure you've got a nice safe space. You want to have some privacy, ideally, if you can, and make sure you're nice and comfortable. Quite often we don't really think about that. We don't tune into our body. So I want you just to take a few seconds to grab anything you might need, like layers, a blanket, something warm to keep you cozy, a refreshment as mentioned, and just do a little bit of a check-in. So have you got everything you need? You might want pen and paper. So we might do a little bit of noting down. You can always note in your mind, so don't worry. But it can be nice to journal it. So you get it down on paper and you return to it later. Okay, we'll start by talking about abundance. So sometimes it's easy to use the opposite of something to understand. So the word abundance is used quite a lot, I think, now, isn't it? So we probably think we're familiar with it. But sometimes when we get down deeper, there's more to the word and the meaning that it has. So the opposite of abundance is scarcity. And I don't know if you've come across people talking about like a scarcity mindset, and that would be along the lines of feeling like there's never enough. So it could be like there's never enough money. That's a very common one. There's never enough love. There's not enough kindness. There's not enough resources in the world. There's not enough food. And a prime example of scarcity behaviour and human nature would be around, the time of lockdown, when there was a lot of great deal of stress and trauma in the collective in different ways. We were obviously going through a lot at that time. And one of the behaviours that came up was going shopping and not being enough, hoarding things. And it's a part of our nature. It's about survival, and scarcity will always trigger that. There's an aeroplane going overhead. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but I apologise if you can. So yeah, that's an example of scarcity. And it doesn't mean we're a good or a bad person. It's a part of human nature to be triggered, to behave in those ways. It's quite fear-based. And there's also the flip side of that, which is an abundant mindset. So this would be a more positive mindset, and it doesn't mean we're going to necessarily be in it all the time. And sometimes it takes time to reprogram and change our thought patterns, our behaviours. So please be kind to yourself. If you've grown up, in a culture of scarcity or a community of scarcity, maybe people that were caregivers had fears around from their histories of there not being enough food, enough resources, then we will absorb that, and it's very natural. So we can begin to lean into abundance a bit more, which we'll do together today. It's really exciting. It takes time to shift all that. And we can absolutely have big shifts quite quickly. But also, it's repetition. So we keep questioning things, like maybe there is enough. Maybe I could feel comfortable and safe. Maybe I am able to access abundance. Don't worry, it will become clearer. But abundance is basically there being more than enough, more than enough of stuff. And we can take that as far as we wanted to. Maybe there's like so much abundance of something like health or love, compassion, and connection. Whatever your thing is, we'll explore that a bit in a moment. That there's so much of it that we feel so confident and secure that there will be enough. And when the fear starts coming in that there might not be, we can redirect ourselves to that abundant mindset. It's like a growth mindset as well. Do we want to see the glass half empty or the glass half full? I think that's a really good, simple example. And if you're somebody that tends to see it half empty, that's okay. Just acknowledge that in yourself and ask yourself, I wonder what it would be like to see the glass half full. What would that be like? Maybe I could be that person. Okay. So if you've got pen and paper, I'd love for you just to take a moment, and if you haven't, just think about it, to think about abundance. What do you want to have in abundance in your life? So as I mentioned, it can be anything. It might be health. That's a big one for me because of my health journey. An abundance of health, to have all that flowing vitality and energy and freedom. It might be an abundance of money. That financial stability, and to know that you've got enough, and that you are secure and stable. It might be an abundance of love, whether that's love with the wider universe, just this flow of love in the world. It might be relationships, connections, friendships, family. It might be food, knowing you've got access to food and heating and all the things that you need, nice hot water. It might be an abundance of joy, fun, playfulness. There's no right or wrong. See what comes up for you and trust it. And it's okay if you're not sure, you can always guess as well. Just note it down. What do you want to see in abundance in your life? And see if there's one thing that stands out in particular amongst anything that comes up for you. I'll give you the chance during tapping to personalize it for yourself and fill in your own desires of abundance as we tap as well, to make it as powerful as possible for you. And you might become aware of any blocks. So if there's a block between you and that abundance of that thing, what might that block be? Just be curious. And again, you might not know the answer, you could guess. It could be that you have resistance. It might be that you don't believe it's possible. So it might be that you are causing a block in yourself around beliefs. It might be very practical things, that might feel that they're blocking you from having that abundance, whether it's other people in your life or practicalities. We are beings of energy. We've got all this energy flowing around us, but we're also, in these bodies and in this practical world. So it's really good to bring all of that together. So see if you have any sense of what blocks there might be. These could be, like I said, there might be beliefs, there might be, how you feel about yourself. Underneath some of these more obvious blocks, it might be about self-worth. Just be curious about it. That's all we need, curiosity. Take a nice deep breath. And we're going to invite in that abundance, so you can set that intention. We're going to do a grounding meditation together, because as I said, in order to open up to a bit of a higher vibration of abundance, and sort of optimism and openness, and maybe opening doors of something else that you might not have considered for a while or for some time, or perhaps you have. Whatever your journey is, just be with it as much as you can. So we want to make sure that we are settled and grounded in our system, in our body, to process this. So little meditation. Closing eyes, if you're comfortable to do so. Get as comfortable as you can. Take some nice deep breaths. You can place a hand on your heart and one on your belly if you want to. And taking some nice deep breaths in through the nose. Hold it for a few seconds at the top. And then a nice long exhale as you breathe out. A few more of those, in through the nose. Hold. Out through the mouth. Just feel yourself begin to settle into your body. So softening your body a few percent, letting go of anything you might have been carrying. Softening the shoulders. Just a few percent of softening the body is enough for change. And I want you to focus your mind on the top of your head. Invite a light in, a healing light and colour to the top of your head. A soothing energy that flows down your head, your face, down your neck, then across your shoulders, and as it flows, it helps your body soften and ground. You can focus your mind on what it feels like to be exactly where you are right now, whether it's in the chair or laying down, whatever your position. Just be as present as you can and notice the weight of your body, perhaps where your hands are placed, the sensation of what's underneath your body, the chair, the material, or the bed, or the sofa. And really acknowledge that material supporting you. That's made up of energy too. And gravity weighing your body down a bit more as you continue to breathe nice and deep. And now I want you to invite this colour, this healing energy, to begin to become a nice, nourishing red as we send it down your legs and into the soles of your feet and into the earth through thick roots. And allow this red energy to flow down your roots into the earth and all the layers. And allow it to go to the very center of the earth where there's a glowing ball of light. And this ball of light is warm, nourishing, healthy. The very center of the earth, Mother Nature's energy recharging your batteries, grounding you, reminding you that you are absolutely safe in your body. Just being more present is a beautiful intention, and it brings these energies back up your roots, still that red color. Focus on that if you can, and bring that up your feet, your legs, and into your whole body. So filling your whole body now with this red healing energy from your roots, and allow that to create an aura around your body like a protective egg shape, so nothing can reach or affect you in quite the same way. So that in this session you can begin to open to abundance with curiosity, knowing that you are grounded and protected and stable in your roots. And taking a nice deep breath. Okay, just coming back, opening your eyes. So if you found it difficult to relax into that, please know that that's okay. Meditation and visualization and mindfulness, it's like a muscle. So the more we do it, the easier it becomes. We can be really hard on ourselves when our mind pulls us in different directions. We're human. That's all part of the process. So please just know, the more you practice these tools, the easier they become. If you have a busy mind and you feel stressed or anxious, then it takes a bit more practice to develop that muscle, but you absolutely can. Okay, we're going to start doing the EFT tapping. So tapping the outside of the hand, it can be either hand, it doesn't matter. We just tap on the side like this. Doesn't matter how firm or how quick you tap. Just make sure you take nice deep breaths as you do this. That helps the energy flow. So we're going to try something together. I'll say it and then you repeat it after me. And if anything doesn't feel quite right for you, then just adjust it and change it. It's important that it feels right for you to say. Take a nice deep breath. Remember your roots nice and grounded. And repeat. Even though sometimes I feel scared that there's not enough for me. And I want you to remember what you noted down around scarcity and your awareness. Is it that there's not enough health, not enough love, not enough food, not enough money, whatever your stuff is? Take a deep breath and just acknowledge it. And if this is bringing up stress in your system, if you're feeling a bit triggered, then I want you to just do something for me. Check in on a scale. So we've got a scale 1 to 10. 10 is the most stressed and uncomfortable you could be. And check in on that scale as you're talking about scarcity and abundance. Where are you on that scale? And if you find you're 8 or above, then I would suggest that you take a bit of time to regulate, do a bit more grounding, and come back to this when you feel more resourced. But that scale is a really great way to keep yourself safe. Check in with it and just see how you feel. Okay. So just repeat again, even though sometimes I feel fear, like there's not enough. You can complete the sentence, there's not enough. And right now, I'm going to try to ground myself and open to abundance. Even though sometimes I feel scarcity, like there's not enough in the world. So again, complete that sentence. There's not enough for me. What is there not enough of? What are you feeling? You can notice what you feel in your body, any emotions that come up, acknowledge them, take a nice deep breath. And right now, I'm going to try to accept myself with these feelings, to ground myself, and to open up to more abundance in my life. Maybe there is enough. Maybe I could have enough. Even though sometimes I feel scarcity, and I'm only human. Is it any wonder? Sometimes I'm scared there won't be enough for the things that I want and the things that I need. And right now, I'm going to try to be really kind to myself. I'm doing my best, and I'm only human. And maybe there's a different way to see the world. And I wonder what it would be like to see the world with a growth mindset, to see my glass always half full. Wonder what that would be like for me. So we just ask these questions. You don't need the answer. It's just good for the unconscious. We plant the seed of this question and it just opens and shifts up your thought patterns a bit. Top of the head, nice deep breath. Sometimes I feel scarcity, like there's not enough for me. Inner eyebrows. I'd really love more. So acknowledge what you want more of in your life and the world. Oh, I'd love to have more. And again, specific to yourself, what do you want more of? I have some scarcity and some fear. Nice deep breaths. And is it any wonder? It's a complicated world. And there's lots of challenges underneath. I'm only human. And I'm doing my best. Collarbone, nice deep breath. So we're tapping the point just under your collarbone on both sides. And I want you to connect into your roots. So use that image of visualization we had before. Take a nice deep breath and repeat. I connect to my roots, feeling grounded and safe. To acknowledge any fear, any scarcity. It's not my fault. I'm only human, just like everyone else. I'm doing my best. Okay, under the arm, just on the side, it's just, if you wear a bra, it's where the bra strap would be. So just under the arm on the side, either side is fine, nice deep breath. If any of these points are uncomfortable or you can't do them for mobility, physical reasons, don't worry, it doesn't matter. You can miss and move out and absolutely still benefit. So please don't worry, just connect with your mind and visualization. You can imagine tapping in certain places, that will help too. I have some fear that there won't be enough. And maybe part of me doesn't feel I deserve it. So if that brings anything up for you, just take nice deep breaths. Let it flow. Sometimes whilst we tap, we might have emotions coming up. That's really natural. That's a sign of energy moving. So the key is to let it flow. Don't hold it, don't suppress it. Let it flow as much as you can. Remember, you can always take a moment and come back to this. Okay, tapping the wrist. Either wrist is fine, just across like this. Nice deep breath. I'd love to have more abundance in my life. I'd love there to be more abundance in the world. Tapping the thumb, either side, just where the nail bed begins. We're just tapping here. Nice deep breaths. But part of me doesn't believe it's possible. Next finger. The glass is half empty. Next finger. But maybe it really is half empty. Next finger. That's how I've always seen it. Next finger. I'd like to see it differently, maybe. Top of the head. Nice deep breath. Sometimes I feel scarcity. Sometimes I really experience it in my life. Inner eyebrows. But maybe there are already areas of abundance that I haven't been noticing. Outer eyes. So I want you to consider that. I'm sure that there'll be areas in your life where you do have more than enough of something. And it might be really small. Nothing's too small. Is it that, you've got more than enough tea and hot water to enjoy your soothing cuppas in the day? Is it that you've got more than enough access to nature through plants, a garden, a local park? We'll keep going through the points as you consider this. Is it that you got more than enough of friendship, connection? Just acknowledge where you might already have abundance that you hadn't realized. Because what we focus on grows. So if we focus on those areas under the mouth that are already more abundant in our life, then we will grow that energy. Under the collarbone, nice deep breath. I invite more abundance into my life. Just repeat. I'm open to the possibility of more abundance in my life and noticing where I already have it. Under the arm. But there are areas that I don't have it, that I feel there's a lack. Tapping the wrist. I want you to acknowledge those areas to yourself. So say it out loud as you tap your wrist. Nice deep breaths. Really acknowledge the areas that you might feel like there's lack, that you'd like more abundance. Tapping either side of the thumb. I acknowledge these areas. Next finger. I choose to accept myself with these feelings. Next finger. It's okay. I'm only human. Next finger. And I'm doing my best. Next finger. Just like anybody else. Okay, take a rest, take a moment. Just check in, particularly if you're new to EFT. So check in with your body. You might have felt energy moving through that, and that might be like heat, shivers, tingling. It might be a rush of something. It might be an emotion. So we are touching on some things that could be quite raw for you in terms of feeling lack and fear and abundance. So be really kind and gentle to yourself. Check yourself on that scale. Make sure that you are comfortable and resourced to continue. And I also want you to note down mentally or pen and paper anything that's come up. So you might have had an awareness around some areas of lack in your life. You might have had an aha moment, a ping around some areas that you already have abundance. They might be things that you didn't realize were there, or maybe you did. Just acknowledging it and anything that's come up for you. There's no right or wrong. The key is to let it flow and move. So as I said, we want to make sure you're grounded as we go through the process, and we are acknowledging these areas of lack, which can feel negative. Sometimes people feel with EFT that we focus on the negative, but what we're really doing is we are giving what's already inside us a voice. So we're helping it come up to be released so that we can create space for more openness and lightness and abundance. So we'll carry on doing a bit of alternating between the lack and the abundance. And I want you to begin to get curious around what these feel like. So what does abundance feel like in your body? And if you're not sure, that's okay. But you could guess. Is there a colour that abundance might have for you? Is there a sensation, an emotion? We'll play with that a bit more, but just introducing that idea for you and seeing if anything comes to you whilst we tap. Okay, tapping the outside of the hand. Nice deep breath. Even though sometimes it's really hard to feel optimistic and abundant, because life is challenging. And sometimes I don't feel good enough. Right now, I make a choice to be kinder to myself, like I would a dear friend. I believe they deserve abundance, so maybe I deserve it too. That could be quite challenging, so anything that's coming up around that, be really kind, deep breaths. Even though sometimes I don't feel good enough, I'd like more abundance in my life. But it's hard to open to it. Maybe it feels a bit alien. And this feeling of lack, I want you to see where the lack feeling is in your body, that sense there's not enough, there's, this fear that you might not get the things you want and need. Just see where it's positioned in your body. Do that little check. Remember, if you need to take a moment, do some further grounding and breathing and resourcing, and come back to this when you feel able and ready. Just notice where you might hold it in your body. Breathe into it. You can give it a colour, a shape. See where it sits. Is it heavy? Is it prickly? Is it blocked? Is it hard? Just see. Is it in your shoulders, your chest, tummy? And if you're not sure, don't worry, or you can guess. And repeat. In this moment, I acknowledge these feelings, and I'm going to try to see the glass half full and to focus on what I'm grateful for in my life. Remember, it can be a tiny thing. It can be really small. Gratitude is always going to be a wonderful tool to grow that energy of abundance. And the more we see gratitude, the easier it becomes to see it. So we're growing the energy, we're focusing on, the abundance, the glass half full, and then we will see more of it. Top of the head, nice deep breath. This lack feeling in my life, this fear that there's not enough of what I need, what I want, inner eyebrows. It's not my fault. It's really natural to feel this way. Maybe nobody's shown me how to do it differently. Outer eyes. I am open to the possibility of having more abundance, of feeling more optimistic under the eyes. Oh, no, I can't do that. I'm having a lot of resistance under the nose. Nice deep breaths. And that's okay. because I'm only human. Under the mouth, nice deep breath. I wonder what it would be like to open to more abundance, more joy, more health, more gratitude. What if I believed that I really deserved the things that I want? Nice deep breath. I wonder what that would be like. So we ask these questions because it's okay if you're not there. You might not know what that would be like. It might feel like that's really out of reach. That's okay. Take a deep breath and just ask the question. You might guess what that would be like. You might have a little sense. Remember that a few percent of connecting to that idea of what that would be like is enough for change. Tapping under your collarbone, nice deep breath. Connecting to your roots again, that red colour around your roots, that sphere, that protective bubble around your body. Nice deep breaths. And I want you to connect into this abundant energy. So let's begin to explore that a bit more, the colours, the textures, any shapes, feelings, emotions. What emotions would you have if you felt like there was truly more than enough for you and everybody? What would that feel like? It might feel vibrant and free. It might feel really soft and cozy and nourishing. Notice that, what comes to you. See if you can turn it up in your body. And as we're tapping, nice deep breaths. Visualization is great. If you're one of the few people in the population that don't visualize, that's okay. Bring in anything else, sounds, sensations. The more senses we can get online, the better. Okay, repeat. I invite abundance in. A little bit more today. And I'm going to try to notice where there's already abundance in my life. And I make a choice to be kind to myself. No matter how I feel, I'm only human. And I make a choice to ground myself, to connect with my roots as I invite in more abundance in my life. Under the arm. I choose to focus on what I do want. So say it out loud. I want. What do you want? Tapping the wrist. And I choose to acknowledge any emotions that come up for me around this. Nice deep breath. Because I am only human. And I've learnt these lessons from people around me from a young age. The way I see the world and the world's resources. Tapping either side of the thumb. But I'm excellent at learning new skills. Next finger, just on either side of the nail bed. I've learnt so many new things in my life. Next. I want you to just acknowledge some of those things that you've learned, really small things. Not really small things, really. Telling the time, learning to walk, learning to drive if you drive. Whatever you can come up with. Acknowledge it. Next finger. I learnt skills in all of those things. Next finger. I'm a genius, an expert at learning new things. Nice deep breath. If you've got any resistance coming up to these compassionate, kind statements, it's okay. As we keep saying, you're only human. Just breathe into it and soften your body if you can. Don't push against any resistance, just let it be there. And you can adjust the wording or just tap and breathe if that's what you need. Inner eyebrows. There is some lack in my life. There's things that I want more of. Outer eyes. And I'd like to believe that I'm worthy of those things. Under the eyes. I choose to open to new possibilities under the nose, to more abundance in the year ahead under the mouth. 2025. I wonder how it could be different for me. If I choose to see the glass half full, if I choose to focus on what I am grateful for, what I do have plenty of. A nice deep breath. I have plenty of air, water, nature. Maybe it's food, people. Focus on what you've got plenty of in your life. There might be areas of your life where you've got more, so much of something, it's too much. It's all about balance, isn't it? But just acknowledge that abundance can be present under the arm. And I do have lack and fear. And acknowledge any emotions that have been coming up for you, resistance, challenges. Say them out loud. Like, I feel fear, I feel lack. Remember where you feel it in your body. If you did have a shape, a colour, tapping the wrist. I acknowledge that. I'm not going to make it wrong. I'm just going to let it be there. I'm going to try to accept myself with this feeling. Whatever those feelings are, just list them to yourself, tapping either side of the thumb. I choose to accept myself a little bit more today. Next finger. I choose to be kind to myself with all of these feelings coming up. Next finger. And I choose to open to the possibility of something new. Next finger. Maybe 2025 will be different for me. Next finger. I'm not sure yet. And I'm not sure how it would be different. Top of the head, nice deep breath. We'll just do one more round. I do want more abundance. But I'm not even sure what that would be like for me. Inner eyebrows. So I want you to see if you can connect into what that would be like, that few percent. Just see. As we tap here, this is a really good point to elevate any joy, any sense of abundance. So deep breaths and really focus on that. And repeat. I invite in more abundance. Even if it's just a few percent. What if change is possible for me? Outer eyes, and I want you to repeat. Change is inevitable after all. People change all the time. Circumstances change. Life evolves underneath. And I choose to focus on what I do want. And I want you to list what you want. What you do want. What you want more of in your life. Onto the nose. Everyone has their own journey. And I'm going to try to be kind to myself on mine. Onto the mouth. And I'm doing my best. I wonder what it would be like to really believe that there is enough for me. Collarbone. And I wonder what it would be like to step through any fear and to be open to seeing the world differently, seeing myself differently. Nice deep breath. Remember, if you've got anything coming up around this, intensity, emotions, resistance, check the scale, check that you feel okay and comfortable to continue. Also know that this is big stuff, or anything around self-worth is going to be big stuff. So be really gentle with yourself. Nice deep breaths. Let it flow and move. If there's tears, let them come. And if you're not feeling any of that, that's okay too. No right or wrong. Under the arm. I'm open to more abundance in my life. Tapping the wrist. And everything I've gone through in my life. Maybe it's time to open to more energy, to more vitality, to more abundance. Tapping either side of the thumb. I'm going to try to accept myself where I am. Next finger. Because I'm human and I'm doing my best. Next finger. I showed up for this session today. I gave this a go, next finger, and I chose to open to more abundance. And I'm proud of that. See if you can be proud of that. How do you feel about showing up today to do this session? Acknowledge that in yourself, taking the time to explore something different. Next finger. And I'm going to try to give myself permission to let abundance in. Okay, tap or hold this point here. It's called the 9 gamut. In between the little finger and the ring finger, we follow it down and just tap or hold, whatever feels best for you. Close your eyes for me. And I want you just to consider that idea that sometimes we need to open to receiving. Sometimes we are not receiving, we're not open to it. Perhaps we are always doing for others, always giving, or focusing our energies on, what we don't want in life. That's kind of how the brain works. We focus on what we don't want. And it's not very helpful because actually what the brain needs, what we need, and the brain is just a tool that we can harness and refocus. So what we need to do is refocus it on what we do want, that abundant energy. So I want you to really focus in on the things that have come up for you around what you do want in your life. Really connect with them as you visualize, closed eyes, nice deep breaths. And I want you to see yourself, if you can, in the future, living an abundant life. So having those things around you, whether it's the comfort, joy, emotions, happiness, it might be energy, health, it might be relaxation, calm. Maybe you're surrounded by nature or people. Maybe it's a gorgeous, luxurious meal. Maybe it's an amazing, fresh cup of tea. But nothing's too small. But this is an exercise where you can go bigger if you want to. And the main thing is you want to harness the energy of that future abundant you. So I want you to imagine you're turning it up on a dial. Any colours, any scents, sounds, and emotions, what feelings, how does that version of you feel in their body? Where do they hold it in their body? Is there an energy wrapped around them? What does their expression look like? What's their posture? Really see it and turn it up as much as you can. And I want you to then imagine yourself walking into that future. And if you can, then you can literally get up and walk into it, now. Moving the body's great. If you get up and walk forwards, imagine walking into it. Or just visualize and remain where you are and just see that energy wrapping around your body. And I want you to see that energy wrapping around your body, emerging with the red root chakra energy we started with. So you're merging this abundant, high vibration energy of hope and optimism with this grounded rootedness, practical energy of your stability in your body, in your everyday earthly life. Just mixing all of that in together. Taking some nice deep breaths and softening the body on your out breath, relaxing your hands. You can open your eyes. So if you had anything come up in that feels important, please note it down if you've got that pen and paper. You can come back to that later. You might be surprised. When we do EFT tapping as well, we start something in motion, so you might have some shifts and awarenesses in the coming hours or days that will be, connected to the session and work that we've done. It might be like you just feel a bit different, a bit lighter, or maybe you might have some emotions get stirred up and come up. Please know that that's okay. That's natural. Try not to make it wrong. Obviously, if you feel you need to seek support, then please do that. Speak to somebody one-to-one, a mental health professional if something does come up. But yeah, let it flow as much as you can. Note it down and take that away with you, that visualization, if you connected to it and enjoyed that, seeing yourself in this abundant future and how that feels, growing the muscle of abundance, retraining your mind to see that glass half full. And I want to say really clearly that we are human and we have practicalities and limitations in our life, of course. And I don't know what yours are in your situation. This is obviously a general session. So I want to be really clear that, you can lean in with gratitude to really small things in your life that you can connect to, like I said, a cup of tea, or maybe a nice cozy blanket, or maybe a phone call with somebody. Maybe it's accessing the virtual village hall sessions, anything like that. That is abundant energy. You can focus in on that. A few percent of focusing will make a difference. If you do that every day, focusing on the gratitudes and the abundant energy, growing it, doing the visualization. You can tap whilst you do the visualization too, taking nice deep breaths. You don't have to do the whole sequence of tapping to get the benefit. Just focusing in on one point is enough to support you, to help relax your system and to get some energy moving. Okay, so if you've got any questions, you want to leave any comments, then please do. I hope that you enjoyed the session. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Take really good care of yourself. You've done some deep, courageous work today. So that's really great, and see that in yourself. Extra good care, and I'll be back with a Qigong session soon and more EFT in the future. You can watch back on the Virtual Village Hall in YouTube, any playlists of EFT if you want to explore some different topics. All right, take good care, have a lovely day, and I shall see you soon.